Hey, all right. So
I was wondering.
Yeah, so
Let's keep her going.
Today we got Mike Noah in here. Mike Noah is a graphic designer with 503 Media and Events, right?
Yep, that's it.
So just give everyone the rundown on what exactly they do.
Yeah, so like you said, it's a media and events company. So we host and design events like TEDxPortland, Poland Noir, that's a new one, going on our third year this year. Little plug there.
Oh, isn't that a pretty
Yeah.
fun little party? I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's have you been to the Portland Derby?
Oh, yeah.
It's like that, but with actual polo.
Really?
Yeah, it's like 2 matches, 2 live shows.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, kind of stuff like that. And then smaller events like local, like Nike events or parties and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's a good gig.
So did you freelance for a while too? Like I'm trying to piece together your history.
So my history is kind of weird. So graduated in September 14, and about a month later, I got a job at a company called Yes Mail, doing emails for eBay, which
Whoa.
was awful.
Like blast emails.
Like sell right now, you get 5% off, shit like that.
Oh yeah.
So if you could imagine, eBay was, I mean, it was a really good learning experience. But
Mhm.
you know, if you go to art school, you do all this crazy stuff. You know, you want to work at a small agency, and then you work like something super corporate like that. It just killed me.
Oh, I can imagine. Because like
Yeah.
especially like in design school, they push so much like emphasis on concept and like
Yeah.
the big idea. And
Be
then-
creative, different.
Right. Don't work at a place that has 4 white walls. All that
Yeah.
shit, you know.
It was very white wally. You know, the lights were bad. Just it was everything. But that was about 15 months worth. And there were some days I would honestly just watch YouTube videos, movies,
Yeah.
like Netflix. You know, like because I had dual screens.
Mhm.
So it was this weird time, and then I got let go because eBay let half of our design team off,
Damn.
which was actually a blessing in disguise. So after that, remember Jordan Fontes? I always butcher her last name.
No.
Jordan, she was project management.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she hit me up one day. It was like, hey, I know David Ray, the host of TEDxPortland, like, and we need some designers. Are you interested? And I was like, what? Yes.
Yeah.
That's rad. Thank you so much. And that kind of snowballed into me freelancing with TEDxPortland because I was free, and then they just loaded me up with work.
How do they concept their campaigns?
TEDxPortland, like
Yeah.
to advertise, or
Yeah.
well, it's kind of weird because they've only really started advertising in this last 2 or 3 years with Oregon Live. Now it's KGW. Last year we did TriMet stuff,
Mhm.
so like it was like on buses, billboards, TriMet benches and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then this year we're doing billboards again. It just got announced about 2 days ago, actually, the website and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so every 3 years they get a new agency to do all the big design, the book and stuff. First 3 years was Wyden Kennedy. Next 3 was Instrument, and now it's a company called Enjoy the Weather. And it's like 4 or 5 people, and they're super great.
That's
Yeah.
an interesting idea how they switch every 3 years.
Yeah,
Instrument seems cool. I live right across from that. I've always wanted to go in there. And
you should.
putz around.
They're super cool. Like really good guys. They do a lot of Nike stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's how they were actually. That's how we heard about them, was through Nike.
Yeah.
So-
So they have the really interestingly shaped building. It's a bunch of
Mhm.
like curved walls,
Yeah.
and it looks super rad.
Mm-hmm.
But not too long ago, maybe like a month ago, someone drove their car into it.
What?
Like it wasn't really bad, but it messed up the wall completely.
Wow.
And I cannot imagine what that designer, that architect who
Oh,
made the
no.
wall thought. They probably call him up like,
Yeah.
"Hey, dude, by the way, this beautiful building you made, someone just drove off the
Yeah.
road and hit it."
Sorry about that.
He's just like, dude, what? No.
No. I
I
didn't hear about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't like super publicized, but I just would walk by it and you could see a telephone pole with a bunch of paint on it and then a hole in their wall, and you're like, okay, someone just
No.
drove off the road.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It seemed terrible.
That's awful.
Anyways, beside the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, God, so what do you think about like just what's happening with design nowadays? How it's so publicized on the internet, and
Yeah.
how there's so many. I feel like there's so many more designers. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's because everything's so digital nowadays, and people want to make content, even if they're working for a design company or not. But there's just so much more content going around. It's hard to break through the saturation of the market?
Yeah. So like on my downtime, I do a lot of Pinterest design or like themes or anything like that, like what's trending, newer fonts, kind of things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely notice a lot more trends now, or like whether it's patterns, gradients. There's definitely a path people tend to follow, and I like to look at that just to see what is current and what's going on, and I'll try to implement it in somewhat of my design. But yeah, I don't know. It's almost like SoundCloud with rappers. Like it's available, so
Yeah.
everyone just does. It's like, well, shit. Here's a beat, and I'll say something. Like, I guess it's probably the same with design.
Let's talk
'Cause
about the trends because
Yeah.
I see it
Mhm.
too. And there is that theory about how every 10 years things go from like curvy to square and back
Yeah.
to curvy, then back to square. I'm seeing it. I don't know. Right now, it seems like there's almost both. I see
Mhm.
square, but with like some really awkward curvy shit, and they're it's like they
Yeah.
don't know what they want right now.
Yeah. I've been noticing a lot of more gradients, like
Mhm.
lots of bright oranges, yellows,
Yeah.
blues, and like actually like last year, Enjoy the Weather for TEDxPortland, they had a theme. Our theme was spectrum, so there's a lot of triangle shapes, gradients. But I've noticed that a lot.
A lot of
line work.
solid colors too.
Hmm.
People are just incorporating that and direct contrast in colors.
Yeah.
They just don't care.
Hmm.
It's very bold. Oh yeah, and then the same with the patterns too, like polka dots, zebra
Yeah.
stripes.
Actually, I was looking at that artwork over there.
Oh yeah,
I follow a few designers that do a lot of that, like Wallsworth, and like
Yeah.
clothing now. And I think Adidas has a few patterns like that
yeah,
with James Harden. But yeah,
yeah.
So, where do these trends come from? Has anyone traced it back for design? Because there's some people go through the effort of like tracing back trends, and I heard randomly sometime, this wasn't for design, but I heard that like all consumer products can basically be traced back to what 14-year-old Japanese girls want and like,
Oh.
and it just kind of branches out from there. And it just kind of makes sense if you look at what like their style and what they do, and then
Yeah,
like
it's
it's like wow, it really does seem like a lot of other places are some kind of evolution of that.
yeah,
Does anyone? Do you ever?
I mean, I feel like, and this is speculation. I feel like when it comes to fashion, it starts at the street level.
yeah, for sure. I think design's kind of the same way. Like just the basic shapes or basic colors, it can just. I don't know. Like I definitely agree with the streetwear, especially like with hip hop and stuff. Like
Mhm.
Adidas doing a lot of it. Nike kind of started doing that with their at the beginning of the basketball season with the jerseys and everything. It's like all their models and everything else. but-
Yeah. Well, I got a theory. What about how, and I'm relaying this back to this animation I saw last year that was like a Best Picture short nomination, but it was people from Pixar who, obviously Pixar, they're good.
Yeah.
They went aside into this little side project, and it was a story that like didn't have a happy ending. It was like really depressing, and it was like this like kid, and he like lost his, I don't know if it was his dad or his friend, and like then he accidentally shot him in the face,
What,
and it
this
was
is
like,
Pixar?
dude, no, not Pixar,
Okay, I was like,
but the
what?
people who made Pixar.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
it had all the visual,
Yeah.
beautiful, like aesthetic quality of it, but had this really dark story tied to it, and I almost think it's when the people who have that talent say, I'm not going to do it for you guys, but I'm going to do it for me.
Yeah.
And they do something different, and that's what catches on. Because I
Mhm.
bet from now on, people will think of animations differently. They'll think, okay, we don't have to have that Pixar storyline. Like that
Yeah.
formula they have where it's like
Yeah.
a story woke up like this, and then that day it was like that. But one different day it wasn't like that. All this shit.
Yeah.
And if they just don't follow that storyline, what happens?
But do you think that if they didn't have Pixar and they made that film, would it be as popular? Or like would they have to follow the trends first to kind of get well known and then people respect their work because they already have that in the background? Or you know what I mean?
That's another good point. But
It's like-
I think maybe it's a combination of everything.
Yeah.
You need the technical skills. You need to learn some things, but Pixar is not willing to probably take that risk of
Yeah.
making a dark story.
Yeah.
But some random guy is.
That's part of it, but the other thing is that people who buy the stuff are more in control of it than anything else. They're at least 50% in control of it. That's actually that's a good argument now that I think about it. Like who is in control of what's being made? Is it the consumers or the producers? In fact, we actually talked about this. I'm taking a health psychology class, and so it turns out that there's been a lot of studies done on this repeatedly, that if you ask women what size they want to be, it's really skinny. And if you ask them what size they think men want them to be, it's quite a bit heavier. And then if you ask men what size they actually want women to be, it's quite a bit heavier than that even. Just keeps getting heavier. And so then a lot of women were like immediately like, well, what the hell? What's wrong with the fashion industry? Why is it just like skinnier, skinnier, skinnier?
Yeah.
And the teacher's like, because that's what women will buy. That's what the women want to be advertised to them. And then some of the women were like, well, is it the people advertising it that way? And then we kind of landed on the same thing. Like, well, it's a half and half. It's like they're perpetuating it probably because it's cheaper to make thin clothes for skinnier people. You don't have to adding curves to stuff is hard. It's very difficult and probably expensive and time consuming. So if you just push everyone to be a stick, you know, that's just what I'm now. Yeah, now I'm throwing random theories out there, but it's just weird. You know, it's weird because it's like you're kind of giving them what they want, but not. But that's just been the trend for forever, for decades.
It really has been, and they've gotten skinnier and skinnier, and it doesn't seem to be stopping. It's such an unrealistic expectation for women.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I wonder if it has to do with the price of manufacturing or the effort it takes.
I don't know. I think it's more than that. Because like whenever I buy underwear, like whether it's like Hanes or Adidas, these guys are like jacked. It's just like like their groin to like their neck, and they're just like shredded like, in this weird pose. I'm like,
what is that?
I need to buy some underwear, man.
I guess that's true. Like we buy underwear, and the other models are always jacked.
But men are more angular; they're not curvy. So it's like
our hips don't really change. That
right?
much.
Yeah, you get muscular or not muscular. It's still a straight line for the most part. You know, and they're stretchy. That most underwear, and you know, I don't know. It just looks better if you're buff. But what doesn't? You know, what doesn't look better when you're in shape for the most part.
The idea that we were just talking about how you could do something different and it could work reminds me of that Fergie conversation we had the other day where, you know, Fergie did this Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem, and it was a total disaster. You know what? There could have been a thought in her head that thought, I'm going to do something different. Yeah. And this is going to be edgy and it's going to be cool.
That was her idea, right?
And it totally backfired.
Yeah.
It sounded like Amy Winehouse, but
I actually haven't heard
really
it.
Bad.
I had some bad thoughts too. I was like,
it was really bad. Yeah. But she probably thought that it was going to be something. Yeah. You know, she had the idea, like, I'm going to take a risk.
What did she do? She just did an edgy
it wasn't
Star Spangled Banner.
Edgy. It was like jazzy or I don't know.
It was a disaster.
Like
and the basketball players were laughing.
New Orleans type stuff. Yeah.
I guess that's the risk you take when you take risks.
Yeah, but someone has to take the risks. Like someone's got to do it, right?
You got to.
I mean, it's like
it made her relevant again. That's for at least a little bit.
I guess that's true.
That's true. I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes that can be bad for your career.
Well, they say no publicity or any publicity is good publicity, but I don't know if that's always true.
I wonder if it has a lot to do with how you handle it, like how you take the hit. Because there's a lot of people who've come back from random stuff, and it doesn't seem to make any sense who comes back from stuff and who doesn't, or why. Yeah. Except for like sometimes people do perfect PR things where they apologize in the right way, or like just was listening to Domino's. You remember how Domino's pizza was so horrible, and like it was just like the consensus, like back in like 2007-ish, 2008, like everyone was just like it's just the worst pizza that got like voted worst pizza of all time, and so. And then like two employees like were just like spitting on pizza and shit, and it got caught on tape. And it like all happened at the same time. And so the CEO just made a video where he was like, "Hey, I get it. Our pizza's horrible, and the employees got caught on tape doing horrible things no one should ever be doing to food. We super screwed up. You know, basically we're the worst. So we're gonna try and just overhaul everything and let us know." You know what we can do and you know what we're gonna be better and then their sales like doubled.
But that works because he was being extremely transparent. He was being authentic. He was being a real human. And when you have a company that gets that big, it doesn't seem human anymore.
No,
it's like you're talking to Domino's, and the fact that he put a face in front of a camera and said, "Hey guys, I'm sorry, I'll fix it."
Yeah.
Who knows how well he did? I don't really buy Domino's, but
right.
Do you buy Domino's? Who the hell buys? I remember when they had that 555.
Well, I know. Okay. So my girlfriend and I, we got one the other night because we were stoned, and she's like, "Let's get pizza." I was like, "Let's get pizza." It was like midnight, and we're like, "Well, I guess Domino's it is." But it was like $26. That for some breadsticks. Like, what happened to the fucking $5 pizza?
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is that like Papa John's became the new shitty pizza place.
NFL, man.
I don't know. Like it's kind of all the same, but I found myself, and I've had conversations with a lot of people where we're like, man, I keep eating Papa John's and I just want some Domino's, man.
Oh,
at this
wow.
point.
Really?
Yeah. Because Domino's got like slightly better and Papa John's kind of stayed the same. I feel like.
What
I
about
don't
Little
know.
Caesars though?
Caesars isn't
They had
that
those
good. Little
Dunkin'-
Caesars is cheap though. Yeah.
It's
the
like
sauces.
that's $5 silver.
They're like,
Yeah.
they're like, our pizza's so bad, we'll let you just slather it in sauce.
Those breadsticks though were pretty good.
They kind of get you though. I went in Washington. That was the last time I went to Little Caesars, and it was like $6. But if you want the extra pepperoni, it's $7, and then there's tax. So I ended up paying like $8 for a $5 pizza. I was like, "What is this?" Or like, what I thought was gonna be $5. Not that that's still cheap as hell these
Yeah,
days.
a whole
but-
pizza.
Right? Yeah.
I was just kind of thinking, like, what could actually save a pizza company? Because they all have these little cartoons and everything. But then Papa John's had the man guy,
guy.
Papa John.
Yeah.
He just stepped down.
And
guy.
he finally stepped down.
Oh yeah, because I think they just stopped doing the NFL too.
I heard a rumor. Was it like
It was
some
actually because of what he
white-
said about the NFL.
Oh, it was about concussions or something.
No, it was about the kneeling and the. I don't remember what he said, but it was he said something ambiguous that was so funny because he said something that didn't really land on either side, but ended up pissing off one side, and then he was like, "No," and he was like, "That's not what I meant. I mean the opposite." And so then the opposite side got
God.
mad,
Oh, no.
and he just got caught in the
like,
middle,
"I'm
just
gonna
like
step
couldn't.
down."
Yep, he couldn't do anything right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
He just gave up.
Snowballed out of
Wow.
control. He
Yeah,
couldn't do anything.
dude. Yeah, I felt bad for him. It was one of those things where it was just like, ooh, you shouldn't have said anything. Yeah, it's like, I get the desire to say something there, but
He
yeah.
should have gone up to the mic during a press conference, just said, "Better pizza, better ingredients, Papa John's." Just walk away.
Yeah, so how do you feel about this? Well, I like better ingredients.
Better pizza.
Yeah.
Do a little head shake.
Yeah.
Papa John's. He had that down.
better players, better games, better NFL.
There it is.
Papa John. Nice.
Papa
Oh.
out.
So speaking of terrible pizza and terrible health, we like to talk about health and good practices for people who do try to become professional designers and
Yeah.
freelance or not. What do you do to kind of keep yourself sane when you're working on a project that isn't what you might always want to be working
That's
on?
actually a really good question because I just did one.
Yeah.
It was a freelance gig, and it was I was referred through another client, and it was she had a book out, but she wanted it resized to an 8.5 by 11, but she wanted all these icons, photos. So she had everything written out, but I had to reformat it, and it was originally like a 5 by 7 book. It was like a 30-hour project.
How many pages were in it?
It was like 2 something.
Jesus Christ.
So
Jesus Christ.
picture like the most tedious thing you can do, like
Yeah.
copy and paste. Okay, here's a paragraph.
Ugh.
That spacing's off. Here's a header. Okay, now once that was all done, which was just like, oh my God. And
Yeah.
then it was like, okay, now we need icons. Now we need photos. Then after all that, and then it's reformatting. Then it's her edits, more reformatting, like things like that.
Mm-hmm.
To stay sane is honestly just coffee and just think about it's easy, even though it's tedious, but like think about how easy it is. You're doing graphic design and it's just like put on some good music and just like go for it. That's kind of my thing.
But it becomes an issue when you're doing something like that, or at least this is how it is for me. When I'm doing something so mind-numbing and so
Yeah.
tedious like that, once I take a step out for that like mental smoke break,
Yeah.
it's really hard for me to get back into it.
I
Right?
think-
Yeah, I had the same problem.
I think that's why I try to just literally power through. I'll think of like
Yeah.
a goal, like, all right, on page 120, I'm going to stop. Or
Yeah.
I'll come back in an hour.
Your eyes start watering.
Yeah, it's just, I'm just like, oh my God. Because then I'll, through on InDesign, I'll kind of scroll down through the pages tab, see how far I got to go.
Mhm.
And it's just like soul crushing. It's
Mhm.
like, fuck, I'm like a third way done,
It's so discouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just powering through, just knowing that the paycheck, the sooner I'm done with this, the sooner I get a paycheck, the sooner, I think it's like that. But it's definitely hard sometimes.
Do you act differently outside of work when you're working on a project like that?
I try to always be myself and kind of like outgoing or just personable. But with her name was Ellen. Through email, I'll kind of throw a smiley face, a couple exclamation points. Like I want it to be fun and like
Yeah.
easy going. So like we exchanged phone numbers. We met up for coffee once. But I think I'm pretty much myself. Maybe a little more professional, I guess.
You get more professional.
I don't throw out like, oh, fuck, shit, or it's just like.
Oh, with the client, you definitely don't want
with
it,
the client. No,
but like, what about when you leave?
Yeah, outside.
You're like
outside
at the
of
grocery store, or you're like going to the gym or something. Are you just like a little more on edge?
No, sometimes. Because I got a dog 8 months ago. Yeah. So now, and I live in Milwaukee. So it's like with my work day, my commute, having to be home to feed the dog, whatever, and then have my own time, whether it's play guitar or go to the gym. Just like that's what gets me going and kind of crazy. Is like I have no time for all this. Like my dog needs some loving. I need to practice guitar. I need to go get groceries. I need to go get groceries. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Oh, I also gotta freelance.
Yeah.
That's what gets me kind of crazy, and that's why I kind of started smoking weed just to chill out.
Yeah,
dude. How many people have done like that's like become the norm? I really think that's a huge reason that it's spreading so much right now. Is because
They're
I think
everywhere.
People, yeah,
all the shops.
Yeah, but even just throughout the country, just getting legalized. If you look at, I was looking at the data, and if you look at how okay the country is with pot being legal,
it's just like
after the 2008 financial crisis, just shot up. It's kept going up consistently, the fastest it's ever gone up since that crisis. Just it's the same level of more pot.
Yeah, it's like the financial crisis. They're like everywhere now. They're gonna be in like Safeway in a year.
Yeah,
but isn't it weird how like fast food chains are kind of going? I don't know if they're going down, but they're changing.
Yeah.
Yes. Pot's going up.
Yeah.
Fast food chains are gentrifying almost.
They are.
Yeah.
They're better. They're at least perceiving quality better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Taco Bell's making Pacific Bell or whatever, which is like high.
They're making Pacific Bell.
I don't remember. I think it's called Pacific Bell. They're making a slightly higher. They're basically making a Chipotle with like wine.
Whoa.
With booze. Yeah.
Dude,
okay.
Yeah. Get lit at Pacific Bell.
I know, right? Yeah.
Really
they're
good.
hiring. I was like, I should work there just for the free food. There you go.
But they are kind of, all places are going for that Chipotle, at least level quality. I mean, it's.
Yeah. Well, they did like Cantina Bowls at first or something. And then, now they're.
I don't know what McDonald's is going to do. They're trying really hard, but I just think that name has that stigma. It's like Walmart. You can rebrand all you want. It's still Walmart.
Yeah.
Right.
People are going to have trouble getting their foot in the door and just being okay with it.
Right.
But then again, there's a lot of people who really enjoy that dollar menu.
Right. Yeah.
You can have a meal for $1.
It's hard to argue
$2.
with. Yeah. I think, I don't know, man. I think these changes are for the best, though.
I agree.
Ultimately.
I agree. People are smoking weed. They're calming down a little bit.
Yeah.
Taking the edge off.
Yeah, less fast food. The thing is that there's enough food out there for everyone. It's just the distribution of it that is so expensive and like really ends up being the problem, which is really sad because if you think of how many people are starving, and it's like the food exists. It's on the earth. It's just the quality, too far away.
The quality is the other issue. People are becoming more conscious of the quality too.
Yeah. But even then, it's like, give everyone could take a step up. Like give the horrible quality food to the people who have zero food. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you could just be a shit because that to them that's a lot. And it's like like I mean I think if they can get good quality food, they should be getting good quality food, of course. But if there was no other option, give them the shit quality food. Because it's better than nothing.
Still food,
I mean, I don't know. It just seems like there's more that we could be doing as humanity in general.
100%. And I think we all have this experience where if we worked in retail and someone like a piece of shirt got damaged, you'd have to like cut it up or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
throwing food away, all that. If you have food and clothes, just. Yeah, it's sad. They get wasted.
Wasting stuff.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
well, we live in Portland,
or anything.
We really hate it.
Yeah. The amount of food that gets wasted from restaurants, though, is just like staggering. It's
insane.
Mind blowing.
Well, I think even at like Starbucks, like all those little sandwiches.
Yeah, they throw them away.
Yeah, which is insane.
It's the law.
They're like a day old.
It's the law. You have to throw stuff away
because you can't donate it, huh? Because
you can't because. Or is it the law?
I think there's.
I don't know. I don't remember if it's just the law or if it's also. Or only the fact that you could get sued if someone gets sick from it. So like if a homeless person grabs it out of the trash and they eat it and they get sick, you could like they could like technically sue you
out of the trash.
Yeah.
What?
That's
weird.
because Or like if you give it to them or something, like if you're
At
like,
the-
hey, this
yeah.
is our garbage, you can have it. And
Could
if
you
they eat
imagine
it,
if that was in court? It's like, I'm suing
Sir.
Starbucks. I ate something they're throwing away.
Yeah.
in France, who are like constantly one-upping us for liberalism, but they it's illegal to do that. You have to give the food away.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We need to figure something out like that here. It's so bad. Like it's just unreal. Even if you could just like shit, we could. I don't know, man. This is so, we have all this. We could probably be feeding Africa with how much food we throw away.
At least give it to
You know
the
what I mean?
shelters.
It's
I mean,
unreal.
that's the idea.
America has like some of the best land for growing food in the world, and I think that's part of why a lot of what has happened with America in history has happened, because we had so much food and there's so much abundance because there was so much food, and that kind of gave rise to capitalism and just our position in the country and other stuff like that. But like all that, but like so much of the food gets thrown in the trash. Anthony Bourdain's making a documentary about this, and everyone should watch that.
God, I
I'm
love
not listening to me.
Bourdain.
I know.
The
That's the
Netflix
shit.
original
Yeah.
or what?
Probably. I honestly don't know, but he's just been going on and on for years about how people need to appreciate food and stop wasting food, and so he's finally making a documentary about it. I'm pretty
Yeah.
stoked.
God, I swear, he's like such a good role model for the world. I swear to God.
He used to do heroin and then just cleaned up and became a chef and then
There you
started
go.
having his own TV show.
But you know
wrote
what?
a
Good for
book.
him, man. You
Yes,
go,
yeah,
you see some
absolutely.
shit.
Absolutely.
You figure yourself out.
Yes.
You find out what works well for you. And
Yeah.
for him, it's cooking. Like,
Yeah.
okay, go for it. And
Yeah.
he's made literally the most out of it.
Yes.
I'm proud of the guy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
I aspire to
shout
be
out.
like him.
A little shout out.
So what? So we're so off track.
Yeah.
What?
Anyways, McDonald's.
Yeah. No. What I wanted to ask you, what projects do you like to work on?
It kind of varies. Like, so with my current job, I also do work for Do 503, the app. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yes.
Yeah, so I do a lot of stuff with that. It was kind of drastic. So on the 503 side, it's,
Sorry, can you actually explain that app? real
yeah.
quick?
So Do 503, it's based out of Austin. There's this whole network of 22 cities around the country. It's like all their area code, like Do, things like that.
Okay.
And it's basically like what to do in Portland. So every show's in there. There's like happy hour guides, things to do for free, win tickets, kind of things like that.
It's the best app to find out
pretty
things
rad.
that are going on in town
Yeah.
by far. I love
Nice.
it.
Yeah, it's like we make money through advertising for upcoming shows, or like I'll do designs for local bands or posters or web banners. So there's that aspect, which is usually pretty fun because it's a little more creative. I have a little more freedom to do whatever I want. On the 503 side, it's a ton of like pitch decks, presentation decks. So it's way more formal and almost like production work.
Mm-hmm.
So I get the best of both worlds a little bit. Sometimes it's a little more heavy on the production side, which is okay, but it's almost like that book, which is so tedious. It's,
Slide decks, especially.
yeah,
Those
so
are a pain.
they can be for sure. But it's like once again, it's kind of like make the best of it.
So who are you
These-
making the slide decks for?
So like a lot of pitch decks. So let's say
yeah.
yes, like for TEDxPortland, it's like, hey, we want your business. This is a deck, made for you specifically. But a lot of it's just, change a few words here, change the logos. And I mean, that's 20 decks right there for TEDxPortland, another 20 to 40 for Polo Noir, to get more business or partnerships.
For sales of sponsorships?
Yeah. It's like, hey, like last year for Polo Noir, we had, I think it was Blue Star Donuts, a couple food trucks. We had one wine, things like that. We had like Kind Snacks over there, Harper's Playground.
And this is all from the pitch
Sumtown.
decks.
Yeah.
So
I
like
mean,
the pitch deck goes out to a salesman.
So Dave, my boss, who was also the host of TEDxPortland, super well connected. So he already has relationships through TEDx and other events he's done. So it's almost, we basically speak with people that are pretty high up with the companies. And that way it's just like, it's really fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, hey, here's a deck. Here it is. And it's like already up to the top of the company rather than, oh, hey, here's your sales manager. Can you pass this along type of thing?
Yeah,
So
I think this
it's-
is like good for people to know, especially designers, because I mean, Ben can understand. There's a lot of really random things that happen when you become a designer.
Yeah.
Like there's so many unexpected jobs that you'll take on that you didn't even
Mhm.
know really exist, but they
Yeah.
matter. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really important to have a good looking pitch deck that is well organized and get a
Yeah.
message across. especially with like the graphics part. I mean, I don't know how many visualized graphics you use, but it's got to be effective.
Yeah, I mean, so a good example is with TEDxPortland, and we just started doing this thing with the University of Oregon. It's called Wings, and it's picture like TED Talks, but for the University of Oregon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
They won't have their own TED.
yeah.
Screw you, TED.
It's such a big market right now. Like having
Yeah.
those just big conferences where people give motivational speeches.
hmm
It wasn't like this 10 years ago.
I don't think so. No,
I mean, TED Talks existed, but now it's like the thing.
It's
Every
massive.
company wants to have it.
like so with TEDxPortland, tickets went on sale like a week ago, if that. I think on Friday, and we've already sold like a third of them, and it's the event's in a month and a half, so it's probably up from that. But people just love it. I mean, part of it's got to be. Looks like, have you guys ever been to TEDxPortland?
I have not been to a TED event, but
Okay.
I've been to events like it.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy. There's a couple performances, and then I think this year's 14 speakers.
hmm
Yeah, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah.
They live stream it now also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I mean if you didn't,
Oh, no way.
yeah, so it's always an option.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Yeah, that's tight.
Just keep plugging away. TEDxPortland, April 21st.
You're proud of that. What else are you excited about coming up in just Portland or design or anything? Design Week is coming up too.
Yeah, that's right. Is it the same week? Is that April or is that sooner than that?
I think it's April.
Right?
And I was like,
I think it's
You
like
just
a-
told us. I forgot.
yeah,
let
I
me
think
look
it's
it
the
up.
same week, which is hasn't caused too many problems with the big event, but no, those are always kind of fun. I think you hit me up last year actually to
oh, shit.
It's all good.
yeah.
We do an
Yeah.
event here at
Okay.
in here literally. So we
Yeah.
bring in artists and designers, and it's always 14th to 21st,
Yeah.
April 14th to 21st.
That's like what, Saturday to Saturday.
yeah,
hmm
yeah. Oh,
Wow.
man, maybe you'll have to come by for that one.
Yeah, for
We'll
sure.
talk. We'll talk about
There
it
we go.
later.
Offline.
Yeah. No, that'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Anything else we gotta? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think we talked about pizza.
Talked about
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Talked about health.
We talked
Homeless
Talked
about
about what you're into. Is there anything else coming up that you want people to know about?
Personally, or I guess work wise?
Both. Yeah. Yeah.
Right now, today I was designing a flyer for a Wild Fang event,
Mm.
trivia for St. Patrick's Day.
Nice.
Mhm.
Be on the lookout for that. Do 503, Wild Fang, and Kells.
Cool.
I guess Kells gonna be pouring some beers there,
Getting drunk.
getting some drunk. But yeah, I mean, just that. I think in a week or so, we're advertising for Polo Noir, like already, which is August 11th this year. So it's just,
Wow.
yeah, things are about to get kind of crazy. I'm doing 5 speakers this year for TEDxPortland,
Mhm.
and I've always done like 3 to 4. That's going to be kind of a lot. And I do all the host slides and some stuff in the book.
Yeah.
So that's going to get kind of crazy in the next month.
And you're avoiding doing novels, reformatting novels from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, it pays well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I actually might bump my hourly rate up just because it's so
Right.
tedious, and I don't think many people want to do it.
That's
so
true.
Yeah.
so technically, you know, I could, because right now I charge like 50.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think I might be like, I'm like 100.
Mhm.
Right.
Because that
yeah.
shit is
You
tedious.
could find that rhythm and just kind of go into autopilot as you
Yeah.
do it and just get done with it.
Yeah, and I like to work pretty fast. I'm not too experienced with having like, oh, I'll do this for $300.
hmm
I'd rather just be like, here's my flat rate, hourly. I'll get done when I get it done.
hmm
And
Yeah.
I try to like, I'll text them, I'll email them all the time.
Update
Right.
them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think that's what works for me. And I think they really appreciate that because it's always communication and like, is this okay? Do you like this? Because I don't want to get too far into a design like, oh, actually, no, I wanted this color, this and that.
hmm
I try to avoid all that from the get go.
Yeah.
But
Smart.
yeah, it can be a pain in the ass.
Yes, it
But-
definitely can. Well, a lot of people charge like for a revision specifically. They'll be like, "Oh, this is my
Yeah.
price. You get 2 revisions. Any more than that, I'm going to start charging you,"
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Ooh, so have you guys had that happen before where like someone wants
Yes.
oh my, so I did, I made this guy a fucking logo and it was
Not just a logo.
a fucking logo.
Yeah.
That's how passionate I am about this. So I made him this thing and it was like rad. It was, where we went wrong was him and I never sat down and talked about what the company was, what his goals were, like what he wanted.
hmm
And so I made him this logo. Took maybe 2-3 hours, maybe 4, and it was awesome. Yeah, he wanted like an elk with an elk skull on it, and then the company's name. I was like, all right, cool. Knocked it out, paid me for it. It was great. It's like, well, actually, because his company had 3 letters and they all meant something else. He's like, well, actually, I want 3 logos now instead of just this one. I'm like, well, we can do that, but most companies have 1 logo they lead with and this and that. I was like, no, I want like 3. I was like, okay, like,
dude, you got to explain to the guy that's not how it works,
no,
man.
dude, I tried. Well, he's like from like Estacada, so he's like, he's more like country and like not very into modern
No offense,
culture.
Estacadians.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Great. Yeah. Well, anyways, I guess back to this. So I designed like 3 more logos, and instead of giving me all those revisions at once, like here's my 10, 20 revisions, he'd ask for 1 tweak, and then I'll text him the new design. I'd be like, 1 more tweak. I'll text him. Little tweak, text. And I'm like, dude, just email me everything you want done. I'll give it back to you. And it was like that for months. And I finally just got done. And like it made me hate working with him.
Yeah.
It made no sense. It's like, what a waste of time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where you got to be strict with
Yeah.
and that's something that I do a lot of times. Is I'll tell people, we'll give you 2 rounds of revisions. You can put
Yeah.
as many comments as you want,
Yeah.
but if it actually goes into a concept change, then we need to go back to an hourly
Yeah. I
rate.
think
If
that's
you
a
want
great
to
way to put it.
reconcept some shit, like that's totally different.
Yeah.
Tweaks here and there, adjusting levels here, like that's simple. We could do that.
Yeah.
Yo, you don't like that edge on that? Okay, we'll fix that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a whole different thing,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. It's only happened once, but I mean, it happens sometimes at work now too, at my non-freelance gig, but it's just so hard. Like, actually, I want to give a talk to my coworkers about what certain file types mean. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, can you make this transparent? I was like, yeah, I can do
Dude,
that.
yeah.
Or they're like, oh, can you send this in a JPEG? Yeah, for sure. Oh, can you actually make it transparent? I was like, you guys, there's certain file types, and like no one knows what the fuck vector means.
Oh my God.
They'll keep sending me like PNGs, like, yeah, can you send us a vector file? And I don't know. It's
You should make that document because internal education is really
Yeah,
important. It helps
it
the
is.
workflow.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
kind of need to.
Your manager should understand.
Yeah, I'd be
It's-
on top of that.
it's
like,
tough.
right away.
And then we use like Slack, Asana, Google,
God.
and Dropbox, and nothing's ever consistent.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
And
man,
then no
why?
one does.
Why so many
We'll
different?
make like projects on Asana, and that's okay sometimes. But they're
Asana's okay. I've
it's
used
okay.
Asana.
but
I
then
don't
yeah.
follow it though. Like, you know what I mean?
It took me a while, but then sometimes they'll still like request stuff through Slack. So there's never like one set location for all these files,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, it's
I
just-
like Slack,
Yeah, Slack's
Yeah, Slack's
fun.
nice. Yeah, but if you're switching between 4 different things, I can see how
but
frustrating.
Asana
that'd
is
be
like
pretty quick.
they just give you a task and there's not really communication. It's
Right.
like this is your to-do list today.
right, right.
And I guess that's
okay.
nice to see, and it's better to like account for your daily progress.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But then Dropbox and Google, I guess Dropbox is fine for file storage, but what are you using Google for? Like Google Docs and stuff? Or
Drive.
yeah.
The Drive?
There's that sometimes, or it's just
They need to choose one or the other with that.
yeah, and no one's on the same page, and it's kind of classic startup 8 employees type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's rough, man.
yeah,
That's what happens.
living the life of the designer, you know.
yeah,
Well, at least you're figuring it out somehow. It seems to be working out well for you.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. Yeah, it's gotta stay busy like we were talking about earlier, and try to make things fun. See the brighter side of it, whether it's tedious and it's got to get done either way. But
Yeah.
slam coffee.
Slam
Oh.
coffee, go to the gym,
Yeah,
do something physical.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I've been
physical
running
helps a lot.
lately. I'm not
Yep.
a runner, so it's
Yeah.
different for me.
yeah. I've been biking to work here and there, and that's been nice because like to sit down all day just drives you
Yeah.
nuts. Like you just get all kind of tight and tense. and
Yeah. You ever try the standing desks?
I tried one today. I think I'm gonna pitch to my bosses to get us one. Or at
Get
least
the
You need
one-
the adjustable.
Yeah.
Adjustable.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of like getting the
A
one that's
set one.
up, and then
Yeah.
I was up, and I'm like, because if you ever show up and you're tired or hungover, or
Yeah.
something.
Hey, been there.
It's terrible. It's like
Yeah.
hell. You're like leaning on it. You're like, oh my God. I went
Taking a
this day.
nap.
Yeah. Or you're like sitting at a chair with your hands above your
no.
head.
Yeah.
It's it's a total nightmare.
Yeah, that's awful.
But then some people have the treadmills. I've been at a company where they had treadmills under the desk and they're just walking and going all day, but they were doing sales. They're on the phone. And I can understand that.
Yeah.
So, but for a designer, no, you're doing,
Yeah.
you have your little Wacom tablet, like one hand on the keyboard, one hand on the tablet. And you're
Yeah.
like
I think it'd be
spacing.
fun to stand for a little bit and just, because like I'll try to walk as much as possible when I'm at work. Like if I need to use the restroom, I might walk to like the further away bathroom and take like an extra 2 minutes, minute to get some blood pumping. But rough sometimes.
I
Man.
feel you on that, man. It's really important.
Yeah.
Moving around. Also, like changing your line of sight has
Yeah.
been big
It's
for me
just
too.
right in front of your face.
You gotta like look out in the distance, and, like refocus your
Yeah.
eyes. My eyes start like watering.
Oh, mine haven't gotten that bad yet.
Oof. Just like not blinking.
Yeah. What
Photo
I do,
editing.
I think I get like a resting, like serious kind of bitch face when I design because I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't notice it. So
Yeah.
someone like Snapchats me or something, but I get so in the zone, like I just focus, and then every once in a while I'm like, all right, take a 30-second break and I'll check like
Yeah.
Facebook or I'll Google something random. Like
Yeah.
today I was looking at Ninja Turtle tattoos. Just like to give myself a mental 10-second break.
The mental
Yeah.
smoke break, man.
That stuff's so important.
It's needed. Like,
Yes, it is.
I mean, if
yeah.
someone saw you looking at like, dude, are you really looking at tattoos right now? But it's just, a quick little break.
Yeah.
I want to say something because I've been learning industrial. I've been learning IO Psych from like one of the top IO Psych people
Wow.
around. She's been in like Harvard Business Review and like all these like things. But she says that work breaks, if they're short, like if they're under half an hour,
Mm-hmm.
you should focus on work during your break. Like you should take a break,
Yeah.
but think about the aspects of work that you don't get to think about when you're working and like solve problems, build relationships and stuff like that. Because if you do something where you completely check out, you're actually just going to make it harder when you go back to work.
I can see that.
Isn't that weird?
So give me an example.
So like if you have a 15 and you decide to just leave and go for a walk for 15 minutes, that's going to be less helpful to you than if you have a 15 and you decide to maybe see what your boss is doing and how they're feeling that day or something like that. That will
That's
actually
nice.
make you more productive and just happier for your and have more energy specifically more energy
Interesting.
for the rest of the workday. The longer the break is, the more you can check out. If you have an hour break, you can kind of check out a little bit and get away with it
Because
more.
it's going to happen either way.
Right. Yeah. And you're taking enough time away to like have a real recharge. But if you there's no explanation for why. This is all just empirical. Empirically, it's like, how do people feel when they do this? Like, how do people feel when they take a coffee break versus how do they feel when they solved a problem on their break, a work problem on their break? It's a weird thing. But good to keep in mind if you have fatigue at work on a regular basis, which who doesn't,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get that
Yeah.
problem where like I don't know if it's the caffeine crash or maybe it's even a sugar crash, but it's like I'm fighting a demon to stay awake at
yeah.
times.
That's why I get up and I walk. Like I have
Yeah.
to, or something, or
Yeah, movement's important.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy important to move around at least a little bit.
Yeah.
I have to do that too. A lot of the times I'll be planning on working on something for a while, but I'll just get so much energy. I'm just like, I gotta go for a run. I just gotta go for a run real quick. Come back, figure it out.
how much coffee do you guys drink in a day?
I start off my day with a smoothie with like a fat scoop of matcha, and I make
Nice,
a
that's so good, so
like
tasty.
I make the smoothie, I chug that, and that's like something.
Mm-hmm.
But I also make like a latte, and I take that with me.
Oh,
So then I kind of like sip the latte for like the next hour, and then I'll be good for a few hours.
yeah.
And
You have an
then
espresso maker?
Yeah.
Nice.
Shit.
Yeah,
How's
nice.
that?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
dangerous, dude. I have had one before where I had too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I was just doing like a pint a day. Yeah. yeah.
Chugging
Of
it.
It was
espresso?
bad. Yeah, of espresso. And
Yeah,
thank
that
God
seemed
that
like-
machine
whoa.
broke.
Oh
So
my God.
this was
It's
this was in college.
overused?
This was in college. Yeah, like OSU times when
Okay, that
people
makes
would just
sense.
pull all-nighters and
Yeah.
just pop an Adderall and
Yeah.
coffee. Like
Yeah.
you're just straight up crackheads in a way. but it was so socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I never liked it. Like I dabbled in it, but it was just like, no way am I going to do this on a regular basis. Not even close. I probably did it like just a few times in my whole college career, to be honest. I'm not a stimulant guy though. I don't love stimulants. And I've noticed that though I always say this, and I don't know how true it is for everyone, but I feel like you do more work, but the work quality slips a little and you're almost evening out. Because you doing this, but if you're like writing papers and shit, you don't need to do good quality because they're just looking for certain specific things, and you put those things out there, and there you go. You know,
you just got to pass the class.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just got to get an A, you know, or whatever.
And if you're loading yourself with like over 20 credits, you don't give a flying fuck about the quality. You just want to pass those 20 credits and
graduate sooner.
Yeah, that's what neoliberalism is. It's literally just, you know, who performs the best and let's give them the thing, and that's where we're at now.
What do you guys think of the Montessori school? There's one across the street, and that was like the first I'd ever heard of it, where they let the kids. They don't like make the kids learn everything. They find out like what they gravitate towards.
School?
Oh wow,
I don't know.
Okay.
But they find what they gravitate towards, what they're kind of good at, and they just let them do that.
So what does the teacher do? Is there like multiple teachers or like?
I mean, I can't say that I know, but all I know is they just figure out like, oh, little Jimmy likes math, so let's just only have him do math. And I might be wrong about this, but this is the vibe that I was getting from some people who had kids there.
Yeah.
Do you think that's good or bad?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think it's great to force kids to do shit they don't want to do, but I think there's like a good base they should know.
Yeah,
you know what
I mean, like as a kid, he's like not going to know history and stuff or science. He's only going to do math.
We should get someone from the Montessori school on here.
There you go.
Yeah,
because I would love to learn a little more about.
Well, you sure that's all they do? Because a lot of these, I think some charter schools do it that way, but some charter schools, I don't even know if there's a charter. It sounds like a charter school based on what you're saying. But some schools, what they do is half the time the kid chooses what they want to do, and the other half the time it's structured.
Yeah,
you have to do math, you have to do writing, whatever, and then so they split it up. Which that to me sounds like a good gig. Yeah, that sounds like a smart way to do it. Well, and when they like it's like core stuff, and then the rest of it is basically electives. You know what I'm saying? And the electives are wide, and they're all kind of geared towards a trade. You know, like learn something that you can probably turn into a career later. You know, art or whatever.
Because like, when did you guys know what you wanted to do? Or did you just kind of like fall into it?
I still don't know what I want to do.
I knew I liked visual arts in high school, but I also knew that a lot of people said that's going to be a very tough thing to make a living out of.
Yeah.
And even in college is the same thing.
Well, what did you go to OSU for?
I initially went for fine arts. And then it was like oh shit, I'm gonna be poor for the rest of my life kicked in, and then went to like business, and then I was like doing maybe I'll do exercise, and then I somehow went back to fine arts, and then it had been 5 years. I'm like, great, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here because I didn't go anywhere.
That was all at
OSU, yeah.
Whoa.
And then went to the design school AI, and that's where everything came together finally. But,
did you spend 2 years there at AI? Or was it a year?
Maybe 3. Maybe just over 2, something like that.
Okay. I mean, shit, we haven't even touched on AI. That's a whole nother podcast right there.
I know, right?
Jesus.
We'll have to say that for next time. I think we've been going for a while.
Yeah.
We'll say that for next time.
There he is.
You'll come back. Trust me.
Yeah. Design week.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to go on?
Not that I could think of.
Well, thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah. Thanks for hitting me up. This is great. This is fun.
We'll make sure to put your website.
Yep.
We'll tag your website. We'll kick your Instagram on there.
Sweet.
Keep an eye out for those Do 503 posts, and maybe go to TEDx if you're feeling it.
Yeah. April 21st.
April 21st. Sweet.
There it is.
Well, there we go. Well, if that's it, then that's it. Everyone have a good rest of your night. Peace out.
Yep. Thanks for coming on, Mike.
Thanks, guys.